Every year on this fourth Sunday of Easter time, I have a recollection and an image which flashes before my eyes. Years ago, I was on pilgrimage in the Holy Land, and our bus full of pilgrims was barreling down the road between Jerusalem and Nazareth. And up ahead we could see a tremendous flock of sheep about to cross the road. And I thought, oh, there's going to be a lot of lamb stew in the country tonight. But nothing happened, because the sheep stopped at the edge of the road until we had passed. Because in that part of the world, unlike our own country and perhaps Australia, the shepherd doesn't get behind the sheep and drive them forward with the help of dogs or riding a all-terrain vehicle. But the shepherd always goes before, and the sheep obey. They have learned to take commands from the shepherd and follow his lead and go no farther beyond the place where he stops. That's a pretty good image, I think, because we call the leaders of our Christian communities pastors, shepherds. We call the heads of our local churches bishops, which is another way of saying a shepherd or an overseer. But we have to remember that when we came up from the waters of baptism, the first words that were said to us were, "You are now anointed a priest, a prophet, and a king." You're anointed a priest because your prayer and Jesus' prayer is mingled together before the Father. You are a prophet because you are vocationed to speak in the name of God, just as Jesus, the great prophet, did. And you are a king. How are we kings? Because if you remember, the first king of Israel was David, the shepherd. And the Hebrew people always considered their king a shepherd king, one who would lead them into the promised land or the good pasture or safety. That is the image of the shepherd that Jesus is using when he calls himself the good shepherd. And we have been vocationed by our union with him to also lead others into the presence of the living God. So we are all united in this one body of Christ, who is Christ, and we are all commissioned and vocationed to do exactly what Jesus did when he came among us, to lead people into the presence of God. However, that has to be done by protecting them, by counseling them, by just accompanying them. The vocation of shepherd, the vocation of being a good shepherd, falls on all of us by our baptism.